A voice for those who want to be heard, but seem to always get overlooked, who are hiding in the shadows, but want to step into the light. Sounds that resonate with all frequencies, that need to be heard, but are often gone, overlooked. Divine Time is a podcast that covers everything to elevate those who are hiding in the shadows, to help those who want to be seen, who need to be heard, but feel that there's always something holding them back from getting their voice out. We've got comedy, we have insightfulness, we have the truth, and we know how important the truth is these days. Stay tuned for an episode of Divine Time. What up, what up? It's your boy, Danley Divine, coming in right now. Just give little updates. I wouldn't say updates. So I go live on Bigo. I'm gonna start going live on Instagram more often, Instagram, Facebook more often. But last night I actually ran across some people with some good conversation. And one individual, he lives out in California. It was interesting talking with him because he is a 52-year-old man. He was talking about how he's set off on having money. He just wants to find a woman that he can take care of, that he can love. And he was like, dating these days are so difficult. He was like, this, like they all just want to play games. And I told him, I was like, hey, bro, in all honesty, there's a lot of women out here who are not mature to even be dating. I told him, I was like, hurt people hurt people. And I mean, a lot of people don't even want to take this time to heal, to get themselves right. So that way they can actually give people the love that they deserve. And I mean, a lot of times it seems as if people are stuck in ways. And with them being stuck in these ways, when they're presented with something, that it makes them uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is, for example, you notice you got all these people running back to toxic relationships, and they're so attracted to these people who are really toxic for them. I feel like the reason behind that is once you are familiar with something and that becomes a part of you, if you don't take the time to heal, you're not going to be able to go and do better for yourself. Now, a lot of these people are in toxic relationships, get out of a toxic relationship and get back into another toxic relationship. Reasoning behind that is they don't really have to worry about being treated the way that they deserve to be treated because this is something that they're used to. They're used to being treated the way that they're being treated, whether it's always yelling, a lot of drama, a lot of manipulation, gaslighting. So therefore now when they end up getting treated correctly, the way that they should be treated, it makes them uncomfortable because it makes them notice like, oh shit, I need to work on myself. And a lot of people, it seems like they're afraid to work on themselves. What's up, His Madness? I'm like, I don't understand why people are afraid to work on themselves. Because once you start working on yourself, then a lot of greater things start coming your way. But of course, this is Earth. We're living in this realm, this plane, where right now in this world, toxicity is being elevated. And everybody wants to be hip. Everybody wants to be part of that in crowd. They're going to do the things that is told to them via the music and the media. They're not going to do anything that makes them stand out. I mean, if y'all pay attention and look around, people who actually give AF are constantly looked down upon and like told, oh, they're simps or put into like these little negative contexts just because they care. And I mean, the man last night, that's what he was pretty much talking about. He said his friends was telling him, man, you a simp, you simping on these hoes and whoop-de-woo. And he was like, how the fuck am I simping? He was like, because I want to show a woman what she's worth. I want to show a woman that someone cares and someone wants to adore her. Someone wants to desire her rather than just lust over her. And I was like, hey, bro, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But that's just happens to be how the world is these days. The world literally jumps in and they want what's bad for them. And the things that are good for them, they rather just throw it off to the side until they're done doing all the bad things that they want to do. And then try and double back and see if that good thing is still there. and then get upset at the fact that the good thing is either with someone else. So now you're going to try and wreck that, or the good thing doesn't want you because now you realize what that person's worth is. And you just want to come show up to the table with a knife and fork rather than actually putting in work to help bring something to the table, you know? It's ridiculous how the society works right now. It's pretty freaking crazy. But for all those who may be listening to this podcast in the future, future later date, I am on live on Instagram while I'm recording this. So if I start talking to other people, that's what's going on. Because I was like, let me try something. If I go live and engage with other people who are on the live while doing the podcast, I was like, we might be able to spark up some pretty good conversation. So for future reference, when I start recording my podcast, or if you mess around and see that I'm on live on Instagram, probably recording a podcast. And feel free, jump on in. Let's spark up a conversation. Let's hit it up. Let's hit it up. But going back to my topic, dear future self, if I could, if I could somehow like travel back in time, and right now I could write a letter to my past self, I think that the things that I would want to tell my younger self would be along the lines of don't take anything for granted. The reason I would say, well, first of all, I should probably make a whole list of the things that I would want to say so I can hit those and explain them because I feel like I have a lot of life lessons and a lot of people don't like to listen, but I feel that a lot of people's eyes are opening up and they're starting to see things for what it is and realizing that a lot of things that they do is really not even for themselves. What I mean by that is they're so worried about what other people may think of them that they're afraid to be their true self, their authentic self. And with that, they're going through life constantly battling themselves and their reasoning behind doing things. So, therefore, in all honesty, they're walking around as a puppet. It's kind of like when Pinocchio still had the strings on him. When he it's ridiculous. You're in a body, but you're not your own. I mean, you can think about it like with all the rappers, with all these celebrities, they have an image that they must maintain. There was a video that just came out. There was I think he was a CEO of industry, of the celebrity industry. I think it was a hip hop industry, and he exposed what really goes on. How he would sit there and they would pretty much tell these rappers like, "Hey, be this, be this, be this," and the rappers end up creating this whole type of culture. And in all honesty, he was like, "Yo, I've seen them." He was like, "I see these people, and I know that they're a father figure. They love their wives, but because of the fact that they're in this culture, this lifestyle, they have to go out and portray something that they're not, which oftentimes ends up leading to people getting killed, like what we've been having a lot lately. And we have had many celebrities come out and expose things, but of course, nobody wants to believe it, or either they're going to call them crazy because it's something that's out of the norm. I heard a quote that said, the normal, or what is it? The outlandish is normalized, but yet the normal and real seems outlandish. And I was like, ooh, that's true. Because for the longest time, everybody would sit here and be like, oh, freak out on anybody who used to talk about UFOs. Now UFOs are coming out. And come to find out, that's a normal phenomenon. People used to freak out on people who were like, nah, Christianity is a fucking, that shit is not good. Now truth is coming out and people are like, Christianity is not good. I mean, side note, who the fuck goes and rapes pillages in order to actually push their religion? Just saying. But yes, I would go back and tell my past self to not take anything for granted. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of things that may happen that you may not want to witness, partake in, but that all is there for your self growth. Now, there are some things that you should not deal with, but you need to stand firm on your boundaries, because if you stand firm on your boundaries, you're pushing to everyone else who you are, what you will not tolerate. But every situation that comes towards you is for a reason. Now, you may not know it at that time what that reason is for. It might be years down the line, and you're like, oh, snap, crackle, pop. That allowed me to do this, 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 and this, or open doors for this, 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 this. Everything that happens has a positive behind it. It's just a matter of how you perceive it. I'm not sure if that makes sense to y'all, but everything that happens has a positive behind it. It's all about how you perceive it. Because I could be in a car accident today on my way to work or something, and on my on my way to work, let's say that I get in a car accident and the vehicle gets totaled. Now I'm sitting here and I'm just like, yo, what's up, simple paper man? My vehicle is totaled. I'm over here freaking out. But then, shoot, a couple months down the line, come to find out that with my vehicle being totaled, it was paid more off than needed to be. So now, therefore, the value of my car is higher than what my car was actually, how much I had left to pay on the car. So they end up giving me money. Therefore, allows me to purchase a brand new car based off of the person who hit me. Their insurance buys me a new vehicle because I was not at fault. Then my vehicle they send me extra money because of the fact that, hey, this is how much was left that your vehicle was worth. So even though I was in a bad situation at that time, it came back and upgraded my vehicle and gave me money that I possibly could have put towards something else. What's up, Scrunchy? How you doing, love? So I mean, every bad thing that happens has a positive behind it. And that's what I'm trying to say. Don't take anything for granted. Another thing I would probably end up telling my past self would be smile always, because the good is coming. And this is going to play into kind of what I just said. Every bad thing that happens, there's a positive behind it. And like I said earlier, it's all about that mindset. How are you looking at it? I mean, I've had plenty bad things happen to me, and I've seen plenty bad things happen to people. But the difference between us is, instead of me turning it into some PTSD, I turned it into PTG. So instead of having it as a trauma, I turned it into growth. And turning it into that growth pushes me to a point to where I'm like, okay, I'm never going to let that happen again. So I start doing things and changing my mindset to where these things, that if they do happen again, or if they something similar happens, the way I look at it and perceive it is in a different way. So now I'm going forward and growing rather than constantly holding myself down at a lower vibration because of the fact that I'm terrified of it, or I'm constantly getting triggered by these types of things when situations similar to it arise, if that makes any sense. I think another thing I would want to tell my past self would be, do not allow yourself to get down because others are down. Now, anybody who knows me, they know I'm a big ass empath. You can call me emotional, whatever. Honestly, the emotions really didn't start coming out till recently, to be true with you. I can walk into a room and feel the energy of a room. And I'm the type of individual where it's like, I like to have everybody around me, including myself, be happy and good spirits and stuff. So I naturally will just end up doing that. But when there's someone that you can feel that negative energy, or you can feel how low that they are, sometimes it starts to affect me. And then I'm an overthinker, so my mind will go and I'm like, okay, what the fuck's going on? So now I may get like a little paranoid and like search the room, like, okay, is there a competition about to happen? Is it something I did? What's going on? Whoop-de-whoop. Majority of the time has nothing to do with me. And therefore I end up stunting my own energy, my own good feelings, because I'm paranoid. I want to say paranoid because I'm paying attention to what another individual is feeling. And that shit sucks. It's another reason why I'm just like, I kind of just stay around certain people and I don't really go out a whole lot anymore, because of the fact that I'm like, my energy, I need to harness that. I need to make sure that I'm good, because the only thing I can't control is myself. I'm not gonna sit here and be a fucking clown in the goddamn circus trying to make everybody happy and please everybody all the time, because all that's gonna do is drain me. All it does is drain you as the individual. And now you're sitting there while everybody else may be having fun and you're all just like, ugh, tired as hell all the time. Don't try and change anybody else, but constantly strive to change yourself. I say all the time, I'm like, if I'm doing anything wrong, please let me know, because I've been in my ways for so long. There are things that are just me, a part of me. And if I don't know any better, I'm not going to be able to change it. So therefore, I will need an outside source to inform me and be like, hey, that was a little fucked up. And I'm like, for real? Like, okay, bet. Let me work on that. And then, of course, put in that work and work on it. The only way that things get better is if you constantly are progressing at it. I mean, shoot, people didn't just pop out their mother's vagina and was like, hey, I'm an Olympic medalist. No, they had to put in that work. They had to constantly grow. Things had to change. Their form probably had to change. Their mindset definitely had to change. I mean, it's a lot of things and a lot of progression. We constantly have to work on ourselves in order to get better in life in general. There's a lot of people who are stagnant on where they are. I don't want to be one of those people. But the hardest part is another thing that I will go back and tell my past self. Focus on who you are, learn who you are, and don't strive to be what others want you to be. Now, going on with that, exactly what I mean on that one is you must know yourself to know your values, to know your place, to know what it is in life that you want to do. Because they say that if you find something that you enjoy doing, your passion, and you turn that into a business, you will never work another day in your life. And that is facts. There's also another quote that says, oh snap, it just slipped my mind. It was once you find your passion and you do what it is you enjoy, you never have to worry about money because you're so invested in what you love. Everybody will start being drawn to what it is that you love. So the money will start flowing on its own. And I'm like, you know what? That's true. Now, I'm not telling everybody, hey, quit your 9 to 5 and just live in a fucking vehicle and sell Pop Tarts out the back or anything like that. I don't know. That might be somebody's passion. I'm not sure. Y'all do what y'all do. Can't knock anything. We're slowly about to be going back to a barter system. This whole freaking money system is about to crumble. I don't know if anybody's paying attention to all the current events and stuff that's going on, but if you're not, get ready. Get ready. Because in a couple months, y'all gonna be like, what the fuck? I'll be sitting here like, I tried to warn you. I told you. Ah. But yes, if you know who you are, know what your values are, know what it is that you seek out of life, and it all aligns with who you are as an individual, you are going to make great changes. And I feel like a lot of world leaders, the changes that they made was because of the fact that they knew who they were. They knew their true self. They stayed aligned with their true self. Now, originally when I was started to record this podcast, I was going to do part 2 of the narcissist, but I have a very I have some people who I hold dear to me and I really value the things that they say. And I feel like I put enough knowledge and information in part 1 that I don't need to do a part 2 because that is a part of my life that the shit happened. I learned from it. I understood what that meant. And the healer that I am, I'm always going to lean towards doing the right thing, whether I have support or not. And I feel that I went about, I told my story, I put it out there, and everything that's going to come to those individuals is going to come to those individuals. So that is something that is now behind me. I'm not going to sit here and stress about things that are out of my control. I'm not going to stress about past things because, like I said, PTG, post traumatic growth. And with that, I'm constantly growing. I am growing from that situation. I am growing from the incident that had happened. I'm not going to let it hold me down. I'm not going to sit here and, what's the word I'm looking for? Scraunchy, help me. What's the word I'm looking for? Um, Obsess over something because of the fact that I want to make change. I'm like, I can make change by putting the knowledge out there, expressing the story, and just like what I want the goals and focus of the podcast to be as a whole, tell the stories of those who possibly cannot or will not tell it for themselves. To put knowledge out there and also to be a voice for those who think that they are alone. And for all I know, I might run across somebody might run across this podcast at some point, hear that and be like, you know what? They tell their story. And that is honestly pretty much what I want. So I felt, you know what, I don't need to do a part two of that episode of The Narcissist just because I won't let you obsess over it any longer. Well, thank you. Much love, much love. I definitely won't. I won't. I'm not going to do a part two of that episode just because of the fact that, like I said, that is a part of me that came, it happened. But just like the shirt I'm going to drop on the merchandise, I'll say, hey, it's already copyrighted. You can't take my shit. On the back of it, it's going to say, I can't see you. And on the front, it'll say, my future is in front of me. So I'm not going to be walking around looking in my rear view because you can't drive forward looking backwards, you know, unless you're driving backwards forward. That makes no sense. Unless you're going in the right direction on the road in reverse. That's the only time you're going to be looking backwards or driving forward, I guess. But even still, you're still driving backwards. But moving back on, is there anything that you would want to tell your past self if you could write a letter to your old self? Like as of right now, we're in the present, obviously. But if you can send a letter into the past to your past self, what would you want to tell them? Think about it. Think about it. Take a second. Matter of fact. All right, sorry. I think that's something I want to actually do. If you have the time or a paper or a pencil in front of you, try and list 5 things that you would want to tell your past self. Write it down and then put it somewhere that you don't look very often. So that way, and then make sure that you label it. I didn't label it, give it a title that you would understand when you see it. I mean, even if you need to take it, bruh, you said don't come out the womb, sis. It sucks on this planet. Well, I mean, you think about it, we're reincarnated many different fucking times. You might be on a different planet in a different room next time. You don't really have control of coming out of the womb. You're not like, hey, at least I don't know. What if we are actually able to be like, you know what? I want to slide out that one right there. And these are the things that I want to deal with in life. But yet, when you are born, you have no recollection of everything. So, what if we have already predetermined our lives before we actually come out the womb? What if we literally created everything that's going to happen in our life before we came out the womb? Dot, 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 dot. But anyway, like I was saying, write this letter to your past self and title it something that you would recognize, and then put it somewhere that you never go. Like, I mean, even if it's like you write a letter to yourself right now, 5 things that you would tell your past self. And then I don't know, let's say you're going like to your dad's house or your parents' house or some shit, and you don't see them very often. Hide it somewhere that only you would go, only you know. So that way, maybe next time you go visit them or whatever, after you leave, year, month, whatever goes by, you come back and you end up finding it. Or put it somewhere like under the fridge or some shit. I don't fucking know. I'm just throwing examples out. Throw it like under the fridge. So therefore, like when you are moving or you next time you go to clean behind the fridge, because nobody cleans that behind the fridge every goddamn day or every week or every month. So when you move that fridge out, you end up seeing it. You open it, and you read it. Because I'm pretty sure you're not going to remember everything you wrote down a month from now. You might remember a few, but not everything. So some things are going to be reminders. And I had put up a little postage a couple of days back, and I was like, sometimes the best advice is just a reminder to yourself of where you've come from, how far you have gone, and how much love you can give. Because those 3 things will constantly remind you of the human being that you once was, your goals and dreams of where you want to be, and then also the fact that you need to love yourself. And I feel that a lot of people these days don't really love themselves or value themselves. I have 3 whole journals and a complete room with all 4 walls in my dad's house. I used to write entries on my bedroom wall back in the day. That's what's up. That's what's up. That is actually pretty fucking good. I mean, in all honesty, I need to get back into journaling. I did get back into journaling, but I'm not journaling like how I would like to journal. Probably because of the fact that at the job that I'm currently at, I can't be writing like that. and bitches won't even let me do homework. I'm like, I just stand there for 8 hours, dwindling my thumbs, sitting on my fucking thumb and rotating. That's what it feels like. A waste of fucking time. But yeah, I'm like, I keep one close to me always. And my biggest thing is I'm trying to get back into being able to dream, because I want to be able to write those down. I want to be able to journal. I want to be able to dream and write it down, because I feel like, you know what? Like my partner, she has dreams, and I feel like I feel like her dreams are premonitions. I feel like she sees shit that's coming. And a lot of times she doesn't recognize it, but the meanings of things in her dreams are symbolic. And I'm like, ooh, what do you call it? Saying ill. Ill to you too. Shit. She a beautiful, divine thing. Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, I'm gonna have this as a shorter episode for a podcast. I think I'm probably gonna start doing my podcast. They're gonna be like 30 minutes rather than an hour. I think if I'm doing a podcast by myself, I'm gonna do it for like 30 minutes. If I do a podcast when I have a guest, then I'll probably do it for an hour. Just so that way we can get plenty feedback and stuff. But I think I'm probably gonna end up hopping on live and recording podcasts more often. Because I mean, one, I'll be able to engage with some people and actually start picking their minds and also pushing knowledge that way. And it's gonna be real interesting and real good. Another thing too, when it comes to situations that arise, I'm reading a book called Being Subconscious. Oh, you're welcome. I'm not saying that out loud. But yes, I'm reading a book called Being Subconscious. And with that, what's good, Habajit Chauhan? I probably butchered your name. I apologize. In that book, it says that the emotions that you have, anytime that you think back on them, those same emotions will rise back up, because that is how that's how you're teaching yourself. So, for example, if you sit here and you have a situation that arises and it pisses you off, and then a month later, you end up thinking about that situation that happened and it pisses you off, that's because you are training yourself to feel that way whenever it arises. Now, with it, all right, we'll do. With it, when these things happen, you have to untrain yourself. So, for example, if I was sitting here and I think about, I'm just going to create something. If I'm sitting here and I think about a fight I got in when I was in high school and what the individual said to me, and I get pissed off, instead of me sitting here and staying pissed off, thinking about the situation, try and gather my thoughts, gather my breathing, and turn that thought into something that does not affect me so much. So that way, if it ever arises again, I'm thinking about it differently. Those heated emotions will not arise again at that time. And I was like, dang, that is true. We have oftentimes where something happens and we sit here and we just go off. We react rather than respond. Our body naturally does what it does because we have taught it to do those things rather than actually giving a response to it. We react to our thoughts. We react to situations. And this is kind of where these triggers come up as well. To where if you got cheated on, now, whenever someone, let's say you're in another relationship and your partner is doing something that your previous partner who cheated on you does, you're going to react rather than respond. Because in your mind, you're going to be thinking, oh, this motherfucker's cheating again. This person is cheating. I've seen this happen before. I know what the fuck you're doing. And it might not even be like that. But now you're taking it to a level of escalation that it does not need to reach based off of an assumption of what someone else has done to you. And this comes into those toxic relationships, needing to focus on yourself and heal before you jump into another one. But yeah, I have talked enough. I'm going to jump off this bad boy here in a second, but it was nice talking with everybody who was on. This was actually a pretty cool, fun experience. I enjoyed it. I've been working on this since y'all chewed me out in St. Louis, but it's only certain situations that at the end of the day aren't even that serious, but I'm working on it. They really aren't that serious. It's just working on yourself, healing yourself. And we talked about this once before. So healing yourself and working on yourself. Once you do those things, life is going to start treating you differently because of the fact that you are now responding to it differently rather than reacting to it. And it's wild. It's wild. It's wild because I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has been happening on my side, and the way that I just look at things has changed. And now it's like nothing really affects me. Things still happen, but the amount of things that could happen based off of how I could have responded to it, I'm smooth sailing. I'm coasting, you know? So, I mean, yeah, definitely. Focus on self, do that shadow work, heal yourself, love yourself, and adhere to your boundaries. Because you adhere to your boundaries will stop a lot of shit from happening to you that normally would, just because the fact that you will not allow it to happen and that gut feeling when it'll taking over. But yes, thank you, thank you. Blessings.
Yo, 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 what's good? What's good? It's your boy Donley Divine, here to drop a little bit more knowledge through things that I have gone through in my life. If you like what you're hearing, if you like what you've heard, go ahead. Shoot me an email or anything like that. Right? You can reach me at jade.shade9590 at gmail.com. That is ZHAD, or correction, JADE dot ZHADE 9590 at gmail.com. We'll have a little Facebook group up as well, Divine Time. Has nothing to do with polyamory. It's all about spirituality, uplifting positivity, even if you're not spiritual. Just something to make sure that we all are going about our days on a positive way. Me personally, I feel that I am a healer, I am a defender, I am a warrior. I'm like, with that, I feel like it's my responsibility to connect individuals, to bring positivity, to bring that light, because we are living in a world that is so toxic, to where toxic and evil people are elevating into higher positions to where they are controlling a lot of things. And those who actually give a fuck, generally give a fuck, genuinely give a fuck, are looked down upon as if we are the lowest of the low. And in all honesty, we need to go ahead and switch this hell on earth around, because we can literally take the hell that we're in and turn it into a heaven, a very positive place, and let all these demons burn. So again, when I do my podcast, I do live podcasts. If y'all want to jump in on that, go ahead and click clackety click 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 and type things up while I'm over here having a conversation with whoever I am with, or even if I'm by myself. Please bring your insight, bring your knowledge, bring your wisdom. For example, anything that I'm saying, it might not be for you, but yet you would leave taking that and passing it on to somebody else who may need it. So please jump on in, like, subscribe, follow. Blessings.